All right, so what has happened to the Lions' deep passing game? We got to talk about it.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's good, everybody? Matt Dery with you. It is a Tuesday edition of Locked On Lions right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, the #1 sports podcast network, on a Tuesday, November 25th into Wednesday, November 26th. Thank you for making us your first listen and checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. Some of you watch us and subscribe on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. We appreciate those of you that do. We're over 17,000 YouTube subscribers. We appreciate all of you. Shout out to our everyday listeners as well. We got an Everydayers Club coming. I'm hearing early December. Be ready for the Everydayers Club. For those of you that watch and listen to the podcast daily, thanks to all of you. Locked On Lions today brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. If your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Thanksgiving Day is closing in, 2 days away. Lions and Packers in a huge NFC North showdown at Ford Field. Second straight home game for the Lions. A chance to win back-to-back games for the first time since early October. The second most hated man in Detroit sports after Ben Johnson, Peter Bukowski, Locked On Packers, will join us tomorrow. We'll do the Thursday crossover on Wednesday to get you ready for Lions and Packers at Ford Field coming up Thursday at 1 o'clock. A lot to get to today. Jahmyr Gibbs, kind of reminder from something that happened last year. We got to talk about possible roster moves coming up, including a reported move already happening in the secondary. Power rankings we'll get to. Call of the day as well. If you want to be our call of the day, it is simple. Go to www.speakpipe.com/Dery podcast page. Leave us a voicemail. We will play one on the air. Likely do it after the game on Thursday, maybe on Friday, but we got a call of the day today. All right, what is going on with the Lions offense? All right, we know the struggles that have happened recently. We've seen drop passes. We've seen Goff get sacked a lot and pressured. The O-line is breaking down. The middle of that interior of that offensive line, not playing well. Tate Ratledge said yesterday he thought this past game against the Giants was his worst game he's played. PFF said it was 2 weeks ago in Philly when his grade was below a 40. Something's amiss here. It's not clicking. It's not the same. There's been some games. You've watched the Lions play, whether it was the Baltimore game, the Bears game, the Bengals game earlier in the year, and you went, man, this offense is humming again. Commanders in D.C., and I know some of those were bad teams they played, but they've got to find a way to keep Jared Goff protected and throw the ball down the field. Our friends at Tru Media put this out there on their site, and we subscribe. We use Tru Media here on Locked On, and it's great. Get this. Only 6.8% of the Lions' pass attempts this year have traveled more than 20 air yards. Only less than 7% of the Lions' passing attempts this year have traveled in the air more than 20 yards. That's dead last in the league. Has this become a Brad Johnson, Tampa Bay Bucks, Minnesota Vikings, dink and dunk offense? It's also the fourth lowest rate in a single season over the last decade. So the Lions are not pushing the ball down the field. We've talked about it numerous times on this podcast. You got a guy in Jameson Williams that is as good a deep threat as there is in this league. You've got a quarterback in Jared Goff, and I'm sorry, some of you might say, well, he doesn't have Stafford's arm. He doesn't have Lamar's arm. He doesn't have Justin Herbert's arm, whatever. I get it. Jared Goff has never been somebody that airs it out all of the time. But if you've been watching these games, and I know you have, Lions fans are the best. You guys are watching, you're listening, you're all over it. Everything seems to be a check down. Everything seems to be short. They're not pushing the ball down the field. They're not trying to do so. And in essence, they're the worst team in the league at throwing the ball deep, basically. 32nd in the league. Today, Dan Campbell was asked about it. This was posted on Colton Pouncey's Twitter page, the fine Lions beat writer for theathletic.com and a contributor here to Locked On Lions. Campbell was asked about the balance of taking the deep shot on offense and the risk involved versus keeping the defense honest. Here's what Campbell had to say today. Quote, "You're always playing that balance. If you don't take shots, then they just sit on you and they can make it difficult. But also sometimes you have to take those shots. You got to be able to hold the ball for a while depending on what you really want to do. So there is a risk reward. And if you don't, then you've got to be able to, within the next 2 downs, you've got to find a way to convert for the next round, for the next first down and the next reload on downs. But you've got to have both. You've got to be willing to do a little bit of both." End quote. What stood out to you there? What did Dan Campbell say? He said, sometimes to take those shots, you got to hold the ball for a while, depending on what you really want to do. What Dan Campbell is basically saying, folks, is Jared can't hold the ball for a while because Jared's under pressure. Campbell didn't say it. He's not going to throw his guys under the bus. He is the most supportive head coach maybe I've ever seen. He's got that locker room. He's got his guys. He's got faith in the likes of Coyote Awashika and Graham Glasgow and Tate Ratledge, his 3 interior offensive linemen. But guess what, everybody? Without saying it, he said it. If we want to take those deep shots, we kind of need the receivers to get down the field, and we kind of need to hold the ball so we can throw them the ball down the field. Short passes mean you get rid of it quicker. That's just common sense. All right? You're in the backyard playing with your son or your daughter. Go deep as you hold the ball and wait for them to get deep. Jared Goff is not comfortable back there. And maybe the Lions offense, whether it's Johnny Morton, Dan Campbell, whoever is calling plays, is saying we can't call too many deep shots or things 20 yards, air yards down the field or not, because he doesn't have time. And that's concerning because now the defense is starting to push forward. They've got 8 or 9 guys in the box. And look, when you've got a home run hitter like Jahmyr Gibbs, it doesn't matter how many people are in the box. It doesn't. He's going to outrun all of them. That's a risk the defense takes. But to be last in the league with only 6.8% of your pass attempts traveling 20 or more air yards. I'm not saying you got to turn this offense into Air Coryell from the 80s with Dan Fouts and Charlie Joyner and Wes Chandler and John Jefferson and Kellen Winslow. All right, I'm not saying you got to air it out deep like Bernie used to, the Lord. Bernie Kosar with Webster Slaughter and Reggie Langhorne, the 80s Browns. I'm going to the Wayback Machine, ladies and gentlemen. Kurt Warner and Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt and the best, greatest show on turf. Warner used to go back there and just chuck it up high. And his guys would come down with it. What did we see with Jameis Winston this past week? Why was he able to complete deep passes? Because the Lions weren't getting any pressure on him. So the O-line has got to show in the next couple of weeks against Green Bay. It's not going to be easy. Against Gary and Micah Parsons. And then the week after against the Dallas front, which is pretty decent. But they've got to start trying a little bit. They've got to bring, if you got to bring in Brock Wright or Dwelly or any extra tight ends, and you got to get Jameson Williams on a deep ball here. And I said it yesterday, I believe, on the show, and I'll say it again. I think J-Mo plays a factor this week. I think the Packers are going to say, we are not letting Jahmyr Gibbs beat us. They've been good against the run all year. They're a top, what did I say yesterday? Top 4 defense in the league. So if they're going to try to take Gibbs away, they're going to try to take Amon-Ra away, you got to go deep to J-Mo, and you got to try. And if you're Goff, you got to find a way to step aside some pressure and get that ball down the field so that for the next couple downs, the safeties are pinned back, are moving back a little bit. And there's not so much congestion up front. Last in the league in throwing the ball deep, according to Tru Media. So this was an offense that just for the last couple of years was throwing it deep, was throwing it short, was doing everything. And it had a great rhythm. And it's still a really good offense. It's still a really good offense. I got faith in them. but the numbers are the numbers right now, for sure. All right, coming up next, let's do this. We got to talk about some roster moves that are coming up. Jahmyr Gibbs, he's just a stud, a beast. But it made me think about something. Our crack research staff hit me up today and reminded me of something from last year's playoff game. We'll get to that coming up next. And as we told you earlier, Locked On Lions today brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA is back. Pistons have won 13 straight. Hello, 13 straight. There's no better place to get on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Get in on some of this Pistons stuff, man. They're playing great. And to watch the games and to get even more into it, check out FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. I'm back on Locked On Lions. Matt Dery with you, Locked On Podcast Network on a Tuesday edition, the #1 sports podcast network. Tomorrow, the crossover gets moved to Wednesday. Peter Bukowski, Locked On Packers, will join me as we get you ready for Detroit and Green Bay, the Thursday Thanksgiving tradition coming up 1 o'clock. Remember, no longer 12:30. And why is that? 1 o'clock on Thursday on Fox. All right, some roster moves coming up here momentarily with this football team. According to reports, the Lions are set to release or waive veteran cornerback Arthur Maulet. Now, number 27, who many of you probably didn't even know was running around for this team as the slot corner, according to Tom Pelissero, he's going to be waived because the Lions have some decisions to make about their 53-man roster. Josh Paschal and Miles Frazier, their 21-day practice windows coming off of PUP and injured reserve are running out this week. So these guys either have to be added to the 53-man roster or be put on IR for the remainder of the year. Paschal was listed. The Lions aren't practicing all week. It's like walkthroughs, but they did a kind of like estimated practice on yesterday and today. Yesterday, Paschal was a full practice. Today, they estimated him as no practice. So, Paschal and Miles Frazier need to be added to the roster. Also, the Lions, Dan Campbell said this today, not me, so don't laugh and don't make fun. The Lions are hopeful that Marcus Davenport plays Thursday against the Packers, baby. Woo-hoo! Come on. Let me put the mic down. Davenport's coming back? Whee! All right. Arthur Maulet played a lot. 32-year-old corner. Hopefully the Lions, he clears waivers and the Lions can bring him back on the practice squad. But now DJ Reed's back. Khalil Dorsey's back. Terrion Arnold could play this week coming off a concussion. So numbers game for Maulet. If he clears waivers, he will return. So Lions have some roster juggling that they need to figure out for this week. So there you go. We have talked a lot about Jahmyr Gibbs and how good he has been in this past week. 264 yards from scrimmage from a running back, most in Lions history, ran for 219, caught 11 balls. I mean, the guy is just everywhere. He's just everywhere. And Jahmyr Gibbs is just a special talent. And it kind of reminded me, and I don't want to bring up a sore subject, but it hit me. And I got a text message from one of our crack research staff, and they are spot on. The Lions and Ben Johnson last year, and Dan Campbell too, really messed up. When they played that playoff game and they hosted the Commanders in the divisional round after the bye, do you remember that David Montgomery started that game and was out there for a lot of the first quarter? And Jahmyr Gibbs was on the sidelines. The Lions went with Montgomery over Gibbs. And I didn't argue it at the time because I love the combination of both of them. I love both of them. I think they're both tremendous football players. I'm the one that told you 2 weeks ago, we need more Montgomery. I think I said it last week. But now we're starting to see how special Jahmyr Gibbs is. He's the best running back in the NFL. You want to argue Jonathan Taylor? You want to talk about Saquon? You want to talk about some others? Christian McCaffrey, saw him last night. CMC's the real deal. Real deal. Give me Jahmyr Gibbs. And the Lions screwed up last year, opening the game, a playoff game, feeding Montgomery, and Gibbs was on the bench. I want to see Montgomery get the ball. I want to see a change of pace. But right now, this young kid wearing the number 0, and this week they'll be wearing their old throwback jerseys and uniforms. Number 0 has to be on the field 80% of the time. I mean, and I like Montgomery, but even if Gibbs is out wide and you run Montgomery, or even if you have them both in the backfield and you run Montgomery, that's okay. But right now, what we're seeing from Jameer, the 49-yard touchdown, the 69-yard touchdown, carrying them on the first play of overtime, where Amon-Ra St. Brown apparently came to the huddle and said, run Gibbs. Let's run Gibbs. Told the coaches, we got to run Gibbs. And he was right. First play from scrimmage, he goes 70 and takes it to the house. So I'm still dumbfounded at the game plan last year for the playoff game and not opening the game with Gibbs and doing what and getting the ball to number 26, now number 0. He is that good. That was a misstep by Ben Johnson, Dan Campbell, everybody last year on that coaching staff. It just was. This is how good this kid's been. He's been unbelievable. Jahmyr Gibbs, all pro talent right now, the way he is playing. All right, we got a call of the day coming up as well here on Locked On Lions. Again, Green Bay coming in 2.5-point favorites are the Lions. Who's higher ranked in the ESPN Power Rankings? Is it Detroit or Green Bay? The Lions last week were ranked 8th. They remain at number 8. Let's go through the ESPN NFL Power Rankings very quickly, and I'll comment. Number 1 is the Rams, and why not? They're 9-2. They're playing great football. Their defense is ferocious, and Matthew Stafford right now is in some kind of groove, and he's got a lot of time to throw. Their O-line, Steve Avila, those guys up front are really, really good. New England is at number 2. The Pats have won, 7, 8 in a row? 10-2? The Patriots. What a turnaround from Mike Vrabel. Gerard Mayo or Mike Vrabel? Just did the 6-7. 10-2. 10-2 of the Patriots. Broncos are 3 at 9-2. They're also on a nice streak right now. Philly, following a loss to Dallas, drops from 2 to 4. They come in at 4th. Seattle is 5th at 8-3. Seahawks just keep finding a way to win. Indianapolis, despite their loss at Arrowhead, 6th. Green Bay is 7th at 7-3-1. You put them ahead of the Lions, you have to. You have to. The Packers beat the Lions in week 1, and they have a better record. 7-3-1 is better than 7-4 right now. And if you recall, the Lions played the Packers on Thanksgiving Day 2 years ago. And, Jordan Love hit Christian Watson to start the game, and Packers were like 3-6 to start that year, and then went 6-2 down the stretch, made the playoffs, beat the Lions on opening on Thanksgiving Day. Hopefully the Lions turn the tables. Detroit comes in at number 8. So you got Rams, Pats, Broncos, Eagles, Seattle, Indy, Colts, or Packers, and Lions are 8. I think that's accurate. And I know right now, if the season ended today, the Lions would not be in the playoffs. I get it. San Francisco is 9th. Buffalo is 10th. Niners were sloppy last night in the first half. Bears, by the way, 11th. Touchdown Bears. Can somebody beat the Bears already? I'm tired of the Bears. Oh, my God. All right, coming up next, we will do it. It is our call of the day. If you want to be our call of the day, it is simple. Leave us a voicemail at speakpipe.com/ Dery, Dery podcast page. They are hopeful to see Marcus Davenport on Thursday. Woohoo! Come on, folks. You want that edge rusher opposite Aiden you've been waiting for? Marcus is coming back. All right. Call the day next.
Today's show is brought to you by our friends over there at Peloton. Look, folks, it's time to break through the busiest time of the year with a brand new Peloton cross-training Tread Plus that's powered by Peloton IQ. It's Peloton's most elevated technology and equipment yet that gives you real-time guidance, and it gives you endless ways to move, whether you want to work out by yourself or if you want to work out with your favorite instructor, like my personal favorite, Alex Toussaint. He always gets me fired up to tackle the day. And the thing I like about Peloton, it helps me achieve more in less times. They have features that help you plan, stay motivated, track your progress, and Peloton IQ also provides personalized workout plans and recommendations. That's something that I use right now during the busiest time of the year covering the NFL. They plan my workouts for me based on my mood, my vibe, and also my favorite instructors. So make sure you check it out and use it because it also helps you correct your form in real time, and it maximizes your reps. It counts your reps so that you can do it smarter, safer, and more efficient. Let yourself run, lift, flex, push, and go. Explore the new Peloton cross-training Tread Plus at onepeloton.com.
All right, back on Locked On Lions. This is the Locked On Podcast Network, the #1 sports podcast network. Thanks for being with us, making us your first listen, everybody, and checking us out wherever you get your podcast. Congratulations. Got to go out to former Lions great, Lions Hall of Famer, pride of the Lions, and Lions radio analyst Lomas Brown. Today it was announced he is a semifinalist for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. No guarantee he gets in, but he's made it to the semifinal round. Lomas is an awesome person, great dude. Everybody loves him. And if he got into the Hall of Fame, that would be super cool. So congratulations to Lomas, Hall of Fame semifinalist. Again, no guarantees in, but hey, getting to the semifinals is pretty cool. Rooting for number 75, no question about it. All right, what is going on with you guys, the listeners? It is time to do our call of the day from our SpeakPipe voicemail system. Our man, Michael Fleischer, checking in. I like Michael Fleischer. Good caller, strong caller. And to quote Don Shane, he said this.
Matt, it's Michael from Birmingham. I want to talk to you about this Lions offense. So I really, in my opinion, and want to hear your thoughts, think this comes down to one thing and one thing only on the offense. Our O-line. I think Goff is uncomfortable. I think Goff is rushing. I think he has no confidence in the offensive line, and you can see it in the way he's playing. I think you'll agree with me that I'd say the last two seasons, before losing Ragnow, before losing Zeitler, when Goff has time, he will tear you apart, and he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. But when Goff is rushed, as he has been this season, he's not very good. So I think our offensive struggles completely revolve around the offensive line. I don't think a lot of it is him. I think it's the fact that the line is not protecting him. And I'm not sure that that's something that we could deal with until the offseason. Would love to hear your thoughts.
All right, Michael, thank you very much. There's Michael Fleischer with us, call of the day, speakpipe.com/Dery podcast page. He's spot on. He's spot on. And I hate to beat a dead horse here or broken record or whatever cliche or one-line phrase you want to use, but it's true. This team with Frank Ragnow and Kevin Zeitler, think about how good that offensive line was last year. Seriously. Think about how good it was a couple of years ago. Taylor Decker is not healthy. He's playing through it. He is a warrior. He is tough as nails. He's a captain. You love the effort that Taylor Decker is giving you at left tackle. And for the most part, he's been not the issue. All right. But is he an elite left tackle? Is he a difference maker? He's fine. He's serviceable. He's good. He's a good player. But when you had, Jonah Jackson, they let go because Jonah Jackson got paid and then got traded. All right. He went from the Rams to the Bears. But those guys in the interior were elite football players. Kevin Zeitler was a Pro Bowl guard. Frank Ragnow is a top 2 center in this league. And if you want to pick on Brad Holmes, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time picking on Brad Holmes because he built this team, and all this team has done under Brad Holmes is won. For people who, if the Lions lose the first round of the playoffs, Brad Holmes on the hot seat. Shut up. No, he's not. No, he's not. He's one of the best general managers in the league. Has he made some mistakes? Yes, we can point that out. I'm so tired of this society of love, hate, great or suck. Can't it be in the middle? Can't there be a very good, a pretty good, a mediocre? No, Brad Holmes is great or Brad Holmes sucks. Pick one. No, I'm not doing stutter stiff right now and having to play that game of having to label. It's a fun game to play on the show once in a while. Brad Holmes is excellent. But you know what? Brad Holmes has not added depth to this offensive line. And he felt, and the coaching staff felt, and whoever they felt Graham Glasgow was going to be good enough to be the center. And he's not been. Remember, they were talking about Ratledge and they weren't sure about Glasgow, guards, whatever it's been. It hasn't worked. It hasn't been great. They're 7-4. It's serviceable. But as Michael just said, as Dan Orlovsky said yesterday on ESPN, this is an offensive line that might not be good enough to take them to where they want to go. And that's a championship. And I love that about this organization, that they talk about championships. Let's win the division. Let's see what we can do. Or maybe we don't win 15 games this year, but we get in the tournament. We do our thing. This isn't about winning playoff games anymore. They've done it. This team's done it. They won 2 years ago. But Michael's right. You've got a backup left guard right now because Christian Mahogany is hurt. And look, other teams are playing second stringers too. All right. You'll see some this Thursday with the Packers. But the depth, the drafting as high as they did of Giovanni Manu, who was shown not much. The cutting of Dan Skipper, only to bring him back off the practice squad. Now he's playing a role. My God, the loudest ovations at the Lions games at Ford Field are when they announced that number 70 is eligible. But he's not that good. Ratledge, I like him. I think Tate Ratledge is going to be good, but he's a rookie. And he went in the second round. So if you're Brad Holmes, yes, you're concerned about the O-line, the depth that is there. And my guess is this offseason, they're going to be drafting a center or a guard that can play center or a center that can play guard or something. Mahogany is the future at left guard. I believe that. I think he's going to be good, but he's injured right now. And yes, Jared Goff, as Michael said, is uncomfortable. Peter Bukowski, Locked On Packers. The second most hated, maybe third most. Is Jalen Brunson more hated than Peter Bukowski? Make that a poll question. Peter joins us tomorrow for the crossover. We'll do that tomorrow.